Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Final Split. Hopefully everything's all in order as we scampered to get the show together here just minutes before going live.
And
We made
minutes
it.
into.
Yeah, I know. We're in the middle of the show. We're going to be readjusting things. You know, it's all good. Joining me this week is the newly I was going to say haircutted, but that's not a verb.
Groomed?
Yeah,
Really
we got
groomed.
the groomed crew. Everybody looking good. I need a haircut now. Let's start with Spike,
Yeah.
who has the most obvious change here. Spike, how are you
What?
doing?
What are you talking about? No. Oh, feels so nice. It's summertime.
I feel like when I went
Everyone-
to screen region your webcam, I only had to do like a 10% of your webcam this time.
It's pretty good. No, yeah. Actually, it's not even a haircut. It's just a lot of shampoo and conditioner.
Oh, okay.
Just containing it all really well. No, feels better. I
That's
like
the
it.
secret. All right. And in our green box over here, we have Sinister One. How is it going this week?
It is going well.
Going
Always
well.
going
All right.
Yeah.
What's your secret hair technique?
Actually, I have been using a blow dryer recently.
Blow dryer.
man.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
Interesting. Interesting.
Helps
And-
with volume.
Huh. All right, I'm learning something new every day here.
blow dryer is not just for females.
That's
Men
right.
can use it
That's
too.
right.
To great
I don't usually get my hair
To
long enough to the point where
great
I need
effect.
that, but yeah,
When-
maybe. And our guest this week is Sweetie T. Sweetie T, do you have any hair tips that you'd like to share as well?
Get this thing called microfiber. You can like put it in your hair and make it look however you want, and it adds texture to it. So
There we go. Oh, wow, I'm
like
hopefully I
that.
have better looking hair pretty soon.
Golden's out of the loop, man.
I got to tell you, I'm lucky
What's
if
your
I
secret?
what's
shampoo
your
and
secret?
conditioner, man. Shampoo and
Yeah.
conditioner. That's it. Let it just kind of sit wherever it wants to. I don't know. Buzz cuts. Maybe that's the strategy. I don't know.
Get
But,
out of bed. That's what it is.
All right. Well, now that we've figured out how to have perfect hair, I think it's time to move on and start the show. So let's get to our first actual topic of the day.
Sick.
Let's press start on this episode. Guys, the ESA schedule has been released. Earlier this week, we got to see the first draft of it. Both streams provided in the schedule. There's a lot to look through out there, and it looks really impressive. What are your thoughts, having taken a look at this here?
I like the diversity between the streams and how, if you're watching like action platformers on one stream, the other stream is not more action platformers. It's like an RPG or something like that, So it's whatever, that was kind of the whole idea for most people, I think, was to have, some diversity between the two. So it's like, oh, I don't like to watch this, so let me go and see what's going on over here. And I think they did a pretty good job of doing the schedule like that.
Right. It doesn't feel like there's overlap.
Right.
Like if you're
Oh,
a Mario fan, you're not going to miss like a Mario game on stream 2 while you're watching one on stream 1. At
With
least
all-
from what I see. Spike.
With all due respect to Rom Scout, Mike Uyama, and all the GDQ organizers of the game lists, it is amazing they were able to structure this. Just looking at it, I feel it's hard enough to put together just one straight schedule that just doesn't ever stop. Now here's
Right.
one where they've got setups all over the place. They had to consider what's going on stream 1 while, whatever's going on over at stream 2. How do we keep balanced what certain fan bases want to watch? There's a certain part of the schedule on day 1 that you brought up where you got F-Zero X, you got a normal run of that, takes an hour, and then there's other runs after that. But if you want to keep watching F-Zero X, they're going to do like time trial stuff over on stream 2.
Right, they kind
directly
of
after
continue it on the other stream. So it's like if you're interested
Right.
in what you see here, head on over to that stream and it's going to keep going. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it really creates. I'm just amazed they were able to put it together, and it doesn't feel like there are a lot of people that brought up they wanted to see this in the GDQs. They wanted to see 2 streams, and they really found a way that there's no clear A stream and B stream. There's great stuff going on both streams. I
Right.
appreciate it's not just all speedrunning for 274 hours. You've also got you got casual blocks, you got blocks where people are going to RTA games. Time trials and stuff. I don't know. It's the most excited I've ever seen, like just the schedule itself of any marathon. And of course, everyone's going to start clamoring they want to see it over the GDQs as well.
Well, hold on now. It's got to work first.
Sure, I understand.
Then they'll be clamoring.
Yeah. You got to make sure
Devil's
that
advocate.
the follow through is there. But at least in theory, looking at the schedule, it's. I think it's safe to say it's hard to not be excited about it. Like there's something for everybody on the schedule, and it's an experiment to say the least. Incorporating rhythm games, incorporating Mario Party on the second stream,
Sure.
or the Melee tournament on the second stream. It's more of just like a full showcase of the event. Whether that second stream is speedruns all the time or not, it's really just kind of more content from the venue, and I'm curious to see how that plays out. Sweetie T, is there anything on the schedule that catches your eye?
I really like, just like glancing over it, I really like how they have like blocks, but it's not like all, say for Mario example, you have Super Mario World and Super Mario on Monday, the 28th. And then if you go all the way down to at some point, they have 2 other Mario games. They have 2 and then 64 at a completely different time. So they don't have just blocks of games.
Right,
Like
they kind of
same
split the games
franchise over and over again. And I actually, looking at it just now, I really like that.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
kind of like that too, just to say, like, like traditionally in the GDQs, it's pretty safe to say they always kind of clump all of one. Like there's the classic Mega Man block, and that's all you're going to get of classic Mega Man is that one time slot. So if you're not there for that, you don't get it. But it's kind
And
of more
effectively,
split.
what has happened there is, in the GDQs, one criticism of the game selection has always been, well, a lot of times you're going to see the same Marios, the same Mega Mans, the same Zeldas, because you've got so many hours to work with here that you do have a chance to say, we're just going to look at Mega Man 1 through 4 block over here, and
Yeah.
we're going to look at Mega Man 5 through 8 block later on. We don't have to discriminate against the same games over and over and over again because we do have this many hours to work with. I don't know, like the most exciting thing to me, it almost makes it feel more like almost like an E3 or a convention of sorts, that it's not just one thing you can go see. You do have the option to go around and, I know you've been an advocate, Golden, of having a second stream in the past where it feels like, I'm not really interested in this booth over here, but if I go over to this booth, they've got
Right,
more
exactly.
stuff
Yeah,
that
I mean, at the end of the day, it just means options for people, and I'm curious. I've been excited about this for a few months just to see what they do with it and how it works, and I think they've kind of hit the nail on the head here with the schedule. It's really cool that there really isn't that much overlap as far as 2 similar games right next to each other or anything like that. So I'm excited for it. Guys, be sure to check it out. Make sure you use a lowercase L.
Yeah, please.
Instead of a
Yeah.
capital I, as
Uppercase
we found
I.
out. Uppercase I if you're adventurous.
Yeah, you there. It's not a broken link if you do the
It is-
uppercase
yeah,
I.
It
Just
is not,
saying.
as we have all learned.
Just saying.
And just a heads up there, Sweetie T, your mic's kind of cutting out a little bit, so just so you're aware.
Okay.
Shouts to the
I
Blue
don't know if
Yeti.
there's anything you can do, but just keep it in mind. Let's move on, guys, and take a look at our clippy clip. There is a new broken game in the house.
Well,
Game.
Okay, to be fair, it's been pretty broken,
it's
but
been pretty
It has
broken
been
before.
darn broken for a while now, but this is just taking it to another level. I mean,
Yeah.
who comes up with this stuff? Like who sits around and finds this stuff? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
so
This is without a doubt the most ridiculous skip I've ever seen in a Mega Man game.
yeah, to illustrate here, pay close attention to when he stands still at the very top here. Just
Yeah,
a little bit of a wiggle.
he's gonna jump. Get ready. Oh, he jumped.
Boom.
Look
And
at
the
that.
stage is done.
Boom! I beat the level. Check it out. My jump was so good it beat the entire level.
And to clarify, what happened there is he gets the ice weapon. It's essentially like, Golden, you got some experience in Super Mario World and orbing.
Yeah, it is like almost exactly an orb from Super Mario World. That instant course clear. And the thing about it is, I mean, this is, as far as I can tell, well, obviously it's a huge optimization to the run, but I think this is the first time we've ever seen like an instant clear in a Mega Man.
Mm-hmm.
So it's totally
Yeah.
different. Saving over 40 seconds.
Yeah.
I think Nudu has already cranked out a run that was sub 19.
He got a really
wow.
good run. He got a really good run.
Yeah.
Wow, that's an amazing time, even with this skip involved.
Here's the tricky thing about it, and the part that's going to drive people nuts is that it's not, there's no consistent setup for it at this point. You know, people are using like an audio cue to know when to jump, to trigger this. If you jump on the wrong frame or do it on the wrong input, you know, you can cause the game to reset or get all kinds of results that don't benefit you. So it's finicky. It's one of those things where like you're sitting there for an hour trying to get this, and you get it once, and you got to go. And
then you got to do all the zips afterward.
Right, and then
yes,
keep in
I
mind,
get to play the rest of the game.
Right,
and now
keep
it's
in mind
impossible.
there's still 19 minutes of gameplay, right? So you gotta hold out throughout the rest of that.
Also to keep in mind is doing Iceman first is not optimal. I would assume getting Magnet Beam in that stage to cross that water gap would actually be more optimal. So optimally you would do this level third. So that's a little rough. That you'd have to go almost 10 minutes into the run before you could even see if this happens or not.
Yeah, I mean,
I watched Harrison messing around with it the other day, and he was just kind of lurking in a stream, and he was doing it and then writing down times every time he did it, so he could send it to some of the task guys and try to figure something out, maybe a little more consistent than just resetting.
Yeah, I think the concern at this point is, you know, can we make it more consistent, make it realistic for someone to do reasonably often, I guess. But it's really interesting. I don't think any of us have seen anything like this from the Mega Man franchise. So I know.
No, but we have been seeing it in other games too. It's starting to happen more frequently. I'd say we're going to see at least a few more of these before the year is out. No question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, this is an actively researched trick at the moment. I know that there's something similar that can be done. I want to say it's in Gutsman's stage, but it requires the second player. It reads the input off the second player's controller. From what I understand, I might not be completely accurate on that, but I guess it's one of those things that's still evolving, and who knows what the game might devolve into.
Yeah.
Over the course of the next several weeks, it'll be interesting. So yeah, that's the new Mega Man skip there. Look out for that. A lot of people are experimenting with that at the moment. In the meantime, though, hopefully the mic will hold out for this. We've got Sweetie T here for the interview. Sweetie T, let's just start with the beginning here. Do you want to explain how you got into speedrunning?
Yeah, sure. So as most people, one day I was on Reddit, and I think Siglemic posted something in the gaming subreddit or something like that. I remember seeing him saying, "Hey, I'm doing Super Mario 64 speedrun attempts for 12 hours a day for a week," or something like that. Like, it was just something obnoxious. And so I started watching him at work a bunch, and I didn't really know anything about it, and I just thought it was fun to watch. So I checked out. He linked Speedruns Live one day, and so I checked it out, looked at it, and by the will of the gods, Dram was streaming. So I was like, oh, people do this for Super Mario World. That's awesome. I love playing that game. So I watched Dram, and I was like, this guy is purely insane. And I actually sent him a message on Twitch about how to get into it and all that. And I just kind of went from there. I started out doing shorter categories. Like, for those of you who do Super Mario World, it's 80% no cape, no Star World is what I originally started with. But then I found out that was really difficult, so I switched to 80% no Star World, so I could use my cape. And then I got a little bit more into 96 Exit when a guy by the name of Deathwing told me that I would get more viewers if I did 96 Exit.
There you go.
Okay.
Just play the popular category.
Exactly. Way back when. I mean, this is. I guess this is probably about 2.5 years ago. So yeah, Deathwing's like, you get more viewers if you did 96 Exit, and I was like, all right. So I did it one day, and my first run was like 2.5 hours long. I think it was just something obnoxious. And so after that, I kind of just I got more and more into it. You know, that's generally like the base story of how it happened.
Yeah, and you kind of jumped in to Super Mario World at a time when that was really just the popular game. I mean, I feel like that was the peak of Super Mario World around that time. Just everybody was jumping on board, no matter what their skill level was. You saw a lot of people giving it a try, at least. I remember like Duckfist picking up 96 Exit for a while. I know, like, I think this was maybe a little bit after it, but like Fiesel had dabbled in 96 Exit around that time.
Yeah.
I mean, just lots of people jumping in. Do you feel like Super Mario World is still at that level of just a number of players involved, or has it kind of gone a little bit down since then? What do you think?
I want to say yes, but I can't. The community is still there. If anybody new wants to run the game, we're extremely like helpful and friendly, and we all love talking to each other. But as far as people doing attempts and everything, it's not as much there anymore. I mean, Any% is really big right now with Xpaco and Volp Gaming, and somebody even I heard a rumor that Menbu was streaming the other, which is a Japanese runner. But the community, I mean, once I think the big threshold was when Link Dead and Kashako got that 1 and 2 times. I think that's kind of when people saw it, and a lot of the community was like, "This is it. This is done." Like there's is optimized as much as it can get it. Because when like you said, Super Mario World used to be a huge game, and we used to have 25 entrants on the weekly race on Saturday. And I don't even know if they do this Saturday race anymore. I used to enter it every Saturday. I like made it a point. I told my ex-girlfriend, I was like, Saturday at 2 p.m. I cannot hang out because
that's reserved Mario time.
That's reserved Mario time. I cannot do it. And so, but then I think people started, less and less people started showing up, and the community is still there. We're just in hiding right now. That's all it is.
I was going to say, I think Super Mario World kind of plays along that same side as Super Metroid, where, you know, a marathon hits, everybody watches the run, and then everybody wants to play it. And I kind of expect the same kind of thing to happen after SGDQ as far as just race involvement goes. But speaking of SGDQ, so I think originally it was going to be a race, but I think is it true you're the sole guy now?
Yeah, originally CT Conquer was supposed to be with me, and he did not know it was going to be a Lunar Dragon with the donation incentive. So he was kind of about it, but then he was still going to come and still going to race me. But sadly, I think he has a wedding popped up, and he can't go anymore.
Okay.
So sadly, I'm just gonna be flying solo.
Gonna be flying solo, but so yeah, like you had mentioned, the schedule says 96 exit. There's a donation incentive for the Dragon Coins and the Moons. I think you're prepped for either one. I mean, you're familiar with every aspect of the game. Is there one that you'd rather do though?
I'd rather do Lunar Dragon just so I don't have to mess up wings and clips.
There you go. That's yeah.
That's it. Because if I mess up wings, I'll get upset.
It's the more consistent of the two, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And
it's safe to say that you'll represent it well, regardless. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. This will be the first time that I'm trying to think, because I don't think there's been a 96 since my run, but I'm not sure.
Like, yeah, they did no cape, no star.
It was right. It was no cape. Yeah. Yep, and then there was the low percent.
Yeah,
but that's it.
Low percent's the best. If you run Super Mario World, start out with low percent.
Oh man, yeah.
I was about to ask you, what is the best, or at least maybe your favorite Mario World category at this point? Yeah, if you could only run one category.
If I could only run one category, it would be low percent, because it is the only category that is interesting. It's so fun to just only be Mario and the hardest tricks in the game, and you feel that's probably since my 96 TV.
Sweetie T, your mic's cutting out like crazy. Can you like stick it in your face or something? Start that sentence over and try again. Are you doing like push to talk or something? I don't know.
No, what about, is it better now?
Oh, that's much better.
Oh,
okay.
We figured it out mid-show.
Okay.
I told you. We got it.
I think I knew. I think I found out I was wrong.
Okay.
I'll restart my whole low percent.
So low percent.
Low percent is literally the best category in Super Mario because you have to do the hardest tricks. If you mess up once, the run's pretty much over. Like that's
no tolerance. Yeah.
There's no tolerance for messing up in that category, and it was a lot of fun to learn because it's really impressive when you do it. I have not felt more accomplished in a run. I have like 3 favorite runs, and the first time I finished low percent without dying was my absolute favorite run.
I'll say that is the game. Even the great Niglaria,
There you go.
even he condones low percent of Mario World happening.
I mean, the thing about low percent too is that there's so few people who have actually accomplished it that, like, in itself, being able to do it puts you in sort of like this elite group of players who just actually stuck with it and managed to make it happen. So,
yeah, if I hold on, if I go to the leaderboard right now, there are 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 9 people that have under 20 minutes, and there's only one guy that has over 25 minutes. So there's about 10 runners for the category total.
Who actually, and we're talking about a Mario World category where how many 96 exit times are there? Probably
you can't even count. You can't even count.
You got to scroll for minutes.
With the top time is Link Dead's 1 hour and 23 minutes, and last time is 5 hours and 25 minutes.
Sick.
So,
that's the kind of leaderboard I want to go get a time just to beat that last time.
Yeah.
So you've been playing this game for a while, Sweetie T. Do you ever get burnt out on Super Mario World at all, or is it just with all the categories you find yourself kind of just switching it around? And
I get that's why I started playing Luigi U, because I was so out on Mario.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So you've picked up Luigi U. You also play 3D World, so you're into the newer Mario and Luigi games as well as the old ones. Are you just a fan of, like, the platforming Marios in general? Is it safe to say, like, blanket statement, you would play any of them?
Yeah, I live out of week played Mario games. That's the only games I have are Mario games. I don't have or Pikmin or Wind Waker HD. Now I have Mario and Luigi, 3D World, and Mario Kart. That's it.
All right.
I gotta ask you, the vast majority of the speedrunning community generally have run, the more classic games, the NES, the Super NES, Genesis, maybe N64, and I guess you and me are in, like, the smaller group that tries to play the modern games. Is there something about speedrunning modern games that excites you, or can you, I guess, elaborate on that at all? What about day one trying to break open a game? The 3D worlds, the Luigi U's.
Yeah, 3D World was definitely at first it was all Toad all the time. We would only run around using Toad, and then we found out that about the momentum, that just cat dive and constantly jump and jump and jump, and you continue to keep momentum. So then it turned into constantly jumping. And then now, if you look at it now, I think Darkspin Sonic found out about Lakitu boost, or not Lakitu, Tanuki boosting.
Oh.
And it tore the game open. You can skip cutscenes and everything. And
oh wow,
yeah, you in the very last level, there's a cutscene where Bowser pops up and turns into Cat Bowser, and you skip the entire cutscene. It's insane.
Oh, yeah, where you cross a big gap. I think I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead, Gold.
I was just going to say, so 3D World actually kicking off this upcoming SGDQ. Do you know anything about the runner? Can you give us like
Slow King's Pants?
Yeah, can you give us a prediction?
I actually don't. I actually had to go out and find him.
Okay.
Rom Scout messaged me one day, and he's like, "So you're running 3D World?" And I'm like, "Oh, what happened to the other guys?" Because I offered it, only saying if nobody else wants to run it, I will run it. But if you find somebody else, that's fine. So he told me he couldn't get in contact with anybody, so I went into the 3D World Skype group. I didn't even know it existed. And I was like, hey, anybody know this guy? Because he's not here, and nobody knows where he is. So I don't really know much about him. I'm excited to meet him. I'm excited to talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, I think his time is pretty legit from what I've seen. So
yeah, it's legit.
Should be interesting. I like that they're starting off with a new game. It's also kind of interesting though that just like the main games that you mentioned are all in the marathon. Luigi U is I think being run by Waxcelsior. 3D World starting off the marathon, and then Super Mario World. Do you know what day your run is?
Yes, it's Friday at 10:15 p.m.
Right in prime time there. Should be good.
Yeah.
Well, I think you'll safely represent Super Mario World, nice and well with the execution and the commentary and all that. I hope I can be in the room for it. I don't know. Like, if this is my plea, if I can use the final split for one thing, get me front row seats. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Get me.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that sign on the door that says like over or it's too full. You can't go in. Right.
Standing room only.
Standing room only. That's what. I couldn't think of the phrase. There we go. Yeah, they better let me in. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Guys in the chat, you'll have a chance to ask more questions of Sweetie T later in the show. So if you have questions, think of those. But for now, let's go ahead and move on to our real talk as we go over some of the topics of the day. First one kind of relating back to what we talked about earlier in the show. So we've seen ESA's schedule now and what they've done. And not just their schedule, but how they handled their submissions as well. They had a lot larger submission period, and obviously the event being only 1 month away now, the schedule gets released. Do you think the GDQs could take away anything from the way that ESA handled game submissions?
Well, we've talked about it quite a few. At least I've talked about it definitely many times in the past. I know we talked about it in your chat earlier this week about how you almost kind of feel this commitment to your game for many, many months. And people, like Sweetie T just said, you get burnt out on your game. How do you keep from that happening? My biggest thing walking away from it is, we make these schedules in January, or really start collecting games in January. And what it ends up looking like, you go on my games list show, you look at it, you say, oh, this is such a hype games list for January 2014. The problem is the marathon's not happening until June of 2014. And a lot of things change in those months. And, just watching how ESA has handled this where, it's June, marathon's starting in a little over a month, and they just put their first draft out. I understand there's a lot of things with scheduling, with wanting to get people, committed to whether or not they're going, with plane tickets and hotel rooms. But is there any way we can create some kind of separation between the end of a GDQ and before you have to put games out there? Golden, I know you have, you're probably a little more passionate about this from your standpoint.
I mean, I guess I see it both ways. Like, I understand the value of getting a schedule out early, but I'm kind of with you in the sense that I think we're starting to see some of that, the negative side effects of releasing the schedule too early. We're seeing a lot of people drop out of the marathon, and then all this time becomes available, and we're trying to last minute fit games in. I say we like I'm doing it, but I'm not. So
sure.
Don't associate me with that, but you're starting to see up to the 2 weeks now before the marathon, people are still saying, oh, I just found out I can't go, and their games are getting removed from the list, and then it's a frantic mess to try to throw some other games in there or see what else people can offer. In addition to that too, I think one area that might benefit from having a later or longer submission period would be games that are newly released. I think they would have an opportunity to get in sooner. I think maybe there's a fear that, let's say somebody wanted to offer Mario Kart 8 for some reason. I don't know. I don't know if there's merits to that. It's a new game. Everybody's playing it. Let's say somebody jumps in and wants to run Mario Kart 8. The problem with this is, submissions are closed months ago, and, Mario Kart 8 might be the hot game right now, but there's no room for it, right? Like, right. We've already built our schedule. Yeah. We'll see you in 6 months. Okay.
Yeah, so I'd like to say something on that point, and I think that it's easy to fill time. That's not a problem. If you have empty time in a schedule, it's easy to fill that time. It's not a problem. What it's hard to do is try to cram stuff into a schedule that's already full. That doesn't work very well.
Sure.
So, one thing I've thought about as a possibility is leaving some kind of buffer space, like some number of hours that are just open, like from, maybe they set up the schedule and then they leave between 5 and 10 hours just open. And then as the months pass by, maybe we get a couple new games. Maybe there's some new developments and current runs and people say, oh, hey, we really need to get this into the marathon. And then they kind of have an easier time doing that versus just, well, let's hope that some people drop out or something, which inevitably happens, but you never know who's going to drop out.
Mm-hmm.
If I drop out and my 10-minute long game is cut, that doesn't leave a whole lot of room for things to get put in.
Right.
So
Spike, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I just 100% agree with Sinister. We're never gonna have a hard time filling up hours. Like they had what, close to 1,000 hours of games submitted, and you'd have the same sort of results if you had the games topic go up in March or even April instead of it going up at the beginning of February. So I don't 100% understand the rush that you need to put it up. It's again going back to, I want to see what's a hype game list in June. So yeah, maybe it's a new game. Some people are going to argue that, oh, Mario Kart 8 just came out, let the game develop a little bit. To the general audience at home, they don't care that Mario Kart 8 isn't developed. They just want to see the game.
This is a new game, and they're like, hey, show me what you can do with it, right? Yeah.
Exactly. As opposed to, okay, well, this game, I guess I'll bring up my own special case here. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, I think, is absolutely ready. It could have been in a marathon, but, it came out in February. It came out 2 weeks after the games list had closed, or 1 week after the games list had closed. And you're sitting here 6 months later, well, okay, it can't be an SGDQ, but we'll put it in AGDQ. Well, the game's already 4 months old. By the time we get to AGDQ, it might not even be a hype game anymore. Maybe by then everybody, the time has passed and it's not going to be as big of a deal. It's not even just for newer games that you possibly have that buffer zone. What if all of a sudden we find out Siglemic and Puncation are coming to SGDQ and they want to race 120? Well, what are you going to do to fit those 2 hours in? Are you just going to go and tell someone, sorry, hype just came in, you're out?
Right, a hype train's rolling through, and we're going to run you over. I don't know.
Yeah, there's no brakes on the hype train, and you can't get out of the way.
Now, like, to put like the spin on this and look at it the other way, I don't think there's anything wrong with jumping out, right after a marathon finishes and saying, start your submissions now. Like, if you have a game ready to go, if you're that guy that runs one game or 2 games, and you're always ready to offer this, whatever 1 or 2 games it is, you don't care what month of the year the games thread goes up, and you're ready to go. You can offer it. I think what's more at issue here, or potentially could be altered, is just the length of the submission period. I think, when we look at ESA, they had several months where people were submitting games, and it was kind of on a rotating basis. Every couple of weeks, they'd come in and look at the submissions and say, okay, these ones are good, these ones are not good. And, they kind of let it roll. Yeah. Now we're 1 month away from the marathon. The schedule gets released, and it's fresh. It's right there, ready to go. All
right. Anyway. Yeah, I had one other thing to say about that. The actual, that it's as soon as the marathon's over, and then you got to submit again. And you're saying, like, some people, they're just ready to submit any time of the year. I think that aspect of it does kind of favor newer players, and also people that maybe didn't get into the previous GDQ, which is good, because it kind of brings some balance to, so it's not just the same people over and over and over again,
right?
Because those same people already have reputation. So for them, it's easier to get in anyway. They don't need an extra advantage of like, oh, I need a couple months after the GDQ so I can get ready with my next games. And then, because then it would kind of turn into like, how are new people supposed to break in? And that's all I want to say before I throw it to Sweetie T, because he hasn't really got a chance to weigh in.
Sweetie T, do you got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, just from the old classic NES games, the SNES games, the Sega games, those will always get in. That's not a big thing. Like you guys talking about, especially with Tropical Freeze. I mean, when AGDQ came around, me and Ewaller and Acer we're all three Super Mario U runners, all Super Mario Luigi U runners, and the response we got for the reason the game couldn't get in is because it was too new. And at that point, those games were not very new. Those were pretty old. Any for Mario U was really optimized already. Luigi U was really optimized, 100%, which what I run is already optimized. And the reason we got was because, the game's too new. Let's give it some time to develop. And me and Ewaller were just like, what do you mean it's too new? This game came out multiple months ago, and tons of people ran it.
How do you define too new? Right, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
And 3D World gets in this, and luckily they're all in this. But I'm saying this GDQ, 3D World got in, and it wasn't even a problem.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe that's a good thing then, because now it's,
Yeah.
we're seeing some.
It is a
turnaround on
good
that.
thing. No, it is a good thing, and I'm glad that the 3D Worlds and the Luigi U's and the Mario U's, I'm glad they're all in, because those are all games that I really like to play, and they're Mario games.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say, like, the modern developments in speedrunning are happening so quickly that, a game comes out, people are speedrunning at day one. They're saying world record attempts day one, like people are gunning for it as the game is released, right? There were people with Mario Kart 8 they're claiming time trial world records because they bought the game on Wednesday or Thursday before it was released to the general public. Like, people are that excited about the idea of really cracking these games open. So yeah, I'm kind of with you on that too. I think ultimately,
I know that Fire Dragon's been doing runs of Mario Kart 8. He's been doing all cups. I see him doing a lot, and that's the thing. I think, but like, I understand where they're coming from.
Sure.
Like, I really do, because Mario. All right, say Mario Kart 8 was released, and then SGDQ came around, and somebody said, "I'm gonna run this because it's hype, it's exciting." And then it doesn't have the skips that 64 has, and it's just a guy traveling around on a track who gets messed up by RNG red shell. So I understand where they're coming from.
But okay, one question for all of you, and it's what we're talking about right now, so it's not a big deal, but is Mario Kart 8 in SGDQ 2 weeks from now? Is that a good idea or a bad idea? Assuming you can get someone who is,
I think
at least some.
If you have somebody who knows what they're doing, like if you call, Fash and you're like, hey, run Mario Kart 8 at SGDQ, and travel isn't an issue, and he shows up and he runs it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think people will want that. That's new. It's new. I think too often we look at it as, oh, this game isn't optimized enough because, we're in the community. We have like this speedrunning mindset, and we're focused on, I know this game doesn't have enough skips yet, or I know there's more research to be done. But at the same time, Trihex ran 100% Yoshi's Island a few years ago, and that was when Yoshi's Island 100% was sitting at like 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
It's now come down 20 minutes from that. And people don't care whether it's 3 hours or 2 hours and 40 minutes. They want Yoshi's Island 100%, right? That's the bigger thing. It doesn't really matter who the runner is, or how evolved the game is, as long as it's played at the highest current level. I think people are interested in it. I mean, Ocarina of Time for the longest time was not a 20-minute speedrun.
I agree with that. I think, put it in. The general public is not going to know the level of optimization to begin with, and they just want to see it. They're excited. So why not put it in? If there's some good donation incentives you can throw in there, and it's a popular game and people are going to like it and people are going to have fun, and you have a decent enough runner, it's as if it can never be in a marathon again when it does evolve. Like, if it evolves and it gets all broken, then guess what? It's going to be in another
back.
GDQ.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing wrong with bringing it back.
You got a lot of hours in future marathons.
Yeah, I mean,
if it's going to be that big of a release.
Yep.
Super Metroid, the first time it was played in a marathon, it was probably like an hour-long run, and now it's like a race, and people like beat that time by 15 minutes. So it's like
more people beat that.
Games have a way of finding their way back into marathons. Like, I think that's the safe thing to say. So,
yes.
But yeah, I think we've touched on a lot of aspects of this, and I think there's stuff to be learned from every marathon that happens. So we'll see what happens, but that's something to think about. Let's move on, though, and talk about something that's happening at SGDQ. We've got a lot of races this year. Guys, it's going to be game time here on our show. We'll get some race predictions from you guys, the experts, as I'm going to call you. Or well, I guess we'll find out. You're going to give me your predictions now. We're going to find out.
All of us know everything about all these games.
That's right. You are the wisest of the wise. So I'm just gonna read off some of the races that we're gonna have, and I want you to give me your predictions for who you think is gonna win. If you're not familiar, I want you to take a guess anyway. It's we'll just make sure everybody gets a guess in that way. So let's just start with I think the obvious one is the Mega Man X2 race, the big kind of finale race. That is a 4-way race. It is the second one in recent time. And your race entrants: Caleb Hart, I Ate Your Pie, Ivan, and Trogdor. Give me a name, give me a reason. Sinister 1.
I gotta go Caleb Hart. I know he's a big favorite, and he deserves to be a big favorite because he's been grinding this game like crazy. He's very, very consistent with it. He almost always plays through his runs like once he gets to a certain point. So it's not like he does reset frequently, but it's not to the point where he's not getting full runs. So I got to go with Caleb.
Right, Spike Vegeta.
I want to go with Caleb. I want to pick Caleb as well. If it's not for him just coming off of the X1 race, which we'll get to that prediction in a second, but if he wasn't already coming off of that, because he's been very impressive in some front page spotlights and whatnot lately, got a 33.26 on stream. It was crazy. I'm going to go with Trogdor. I'm going to go with the literal Who. I'm going to go with essentially the Ivan of this race. Ivan came out of nowhere. Nobody knew him, but Trogdor's consistency at this game is insane. He's got a 33, and he averages like a 34.10. I see him coming out of nowhere, winning this race. His focus in the game is insane. The speed in which he picked it up. I'm on Team Trogdor.
Sweetie T, who do you have?
Yeah, hands down. Caleb choked races. He did it. He did it at AGDQ.
Are you saying he's going to do it again? I didn't hear it. You're saying you think?
I'm not going to say he's going to choke. I'm just saying Ivan has already proved that he can do it under the pressure. He had an awesome win at the Metroid race. Caleb lost to Z-Wing. Z-Wing's a great player, but we know that Caleb runs that game and takes it a lot more seriously. So I'm just saying, I'm just bringing out the real talk. I'm saying that I think Ivan's gonna win.
All right. I'm gonna go on the odd the odd chance here. I'm gonna take Pi.
There it is
for the extra race. Let me tell you. Hold on. Let me tell you why I'm gonna take Pi. Okay, I am gonna take Pi for two reasons. One, if you're at the horse race, you don't bet on the horse that's going to give you 2 to 1 on your money. You put $1 down on the 101 to 1, and you make $101. Okay, so that's the first reason. That's the first reason I'm gonna take it. Second reason I'm gonna take it. He has beat Caleb in a race online. Caleb choked. Pi stepped through, beat Caleb. If he can beat Caleb, he can beat the other guys, no problem. I see it happening.
Wow.
So
this is awesome. Only one of us can be correct.
Only one of us will be right. That's
so what you're saying is we're all four going to make a bet. The three of us have to throw in $20. You have to throw in like $1.
I'll throw down right now.
I'll go $1 on Pi. Yeah.
I'll throw $20 down with all you on Ivan right now.
Wow.
$40 on Trogdor. $40 on Trogdor. He has got this.
We're gonna have some discussions about this.
That's gonna be.
By the way, the final split does not condone betting in any way.
Gambling,
unless you're of age, then it's legal.
Kentucky. So, no.
All right, so that's the first one. We got a lot of races though, and actually, I'm kind of noticing as this goes on that some of these races have since been reduced to just single player races or single player events. So some of these have changed.
Sadly, had a lot of dropouts.
Yeah, another one that actually is kind of a big deal because we might not actually know what the race is going to be until minutes before is Symphony of the Night. There's actually a donation incentive to determine who's going to be racing and what the category is going to be. I believe one of the sets of runners is Rom Scout and Dacid Bro. And then the other set is Mecha Richter, and I'm trying to find it here.
Dex
or that sounds right.
Yeah, I believe so.
Zex, Mecha Richter and Zex. So it's Alucard versus Richter. It's either Rom Scout versus Dacid Bro or it's Mecha Richter versus Zex. So this is a tough one, guys, because you have to pick the winner, but I'm only going to let you pick one person, so you also have to get it right who's going to be in the race.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'm going to go with Dacid Bro.
Okay.
So here's my strategy. Rom Scout's going to tell everybody who's donating to donate for the other team because he's always done that. He's always like, yeah, sure, give the other people ones. But the audience isn't going to care. It's going to be reverse psychology on them.
Okay.
So they're going to donate Rom Scout versus Dacid Bro. And Dacid Bro is legit.
He is pretty good.
Not that Rom Scout's not legit. We've always known that. He's put on a lot of great performances. His AGDQ run was insane. But Rom Scout is having to do a lot of things besides Symphony of the Night these last 6 months. So I'm taking Bro, fresh off not having to organize SGDQ, and off the popularity of Rom Scout to get them in.
Yeah, worth noting that this is in the middle of the marathon too, so Rom Scout could potentially have like 72 hours without sleep. Knowing him, he doesn't like to sleep during SGDQ.
Yeah. Even when he's not organizing them.
All right, Sweetie T, do you have a person of choice here?
Mech Richter.
Mech Richter?
I've watched him a few. I'm not real big in the Castlevania series, but the few times I have watched Rom Scout or Mech Richter do their runs, I don't know why. I just stream when he's on. I think I like the name too. I think that's part of it.
Going with the name. That's always a good reason.
Going with the name, dude. It's just like betting horses.
Just like I said. Now you're
NCAA March Madness.
We're getting the hang of it. Sinister One. Who do you have, and why?
I am actually gonna go with Rom Scout, and despite what Spike Vegeta said, I think Rom Scout is just gonna be so delirious by that point that he's gonna just kind of get into this zone where he's just not even thinking anymore, and he's just like playing, and his muscle memory just takes over, and he doesn't even realize he's won when it's over. He's just like, what? I'm done with the run. Did I win? I won? Oh, okay, great. And then he's just gonna like walk out.
Yeah, I'm kind of actually going to agree with you guys. I think Rom Scout and Bro, I think that's the bid war that's going to win. Like whether people want it to happen that way or not, I feel like Rom Scout's just got that association with Soat, and Bro has that viewer base as well, and I think that'll just kind of combine for them to win. If they don't, either way, it's going to be a good race, whatever it is. But I'm going to go with Rom Scout. I hope he's getting some sleep though. Like, here's my thing. He has to get enough sleep for me to believe that he can win it. I don't know, sleep deprived in a race scenario, if that's the best way to do it. But maybe if you're on your own, then you can be sleep deprived and do well. But that race is too much pressure. Let's see what else we've got here. Bomberman Hero, 3-way race, PVTCB, Yashi, and Kirk Q. This is a little bit more of an obscure game than some of the other ones there, so maybe you don't have knowledge of Bomberman Hero, but of the three, who do you have and why? Let's start with Sweetie T.
Kirk Q. I watched him play Melee at PM, and he's really clutch, and you never bet Yashi, so...
There you go. Some advice for the other panelists, I guess.
Yeah, never bet Yashi.
All right, Spike Vegeta, give me a name.
I want to go with another. I mean, I don't know if he is actual literal who, but I'm going to go with a PVTCB. Usually, again, these lesser known names, when they get into these races, they're probably legit, and people just don't know about them yet. So I'm going to take PVT talent.
All right, yeah. Sinister One.
I gotta go Kirk Q, and I'm not gonna say why. I'll let you go ahead and tell it because you told me the other day.
You and I have the same reason here that
there is no way I would not go with him after that.
Okay, I'm going Kirk Q, and I need to explain this for those of you that don't know. One of the most infamous moments in speedrunning Twitter history occurred with this game, and that was Yashi posted his PB and claimed world record, and was super excited about it. And then Kirk Q performed the first ever Speedruns Live Billy Mitchell. He actually he then linked a video in response to Yashi showing that he had already had the record by several minutes. And so Yashi's hard work was trumped by Kirk Q. And if you're gonna be that guy, if you're gonna do the Billy Mitchell, you better like have the gameplay to back it up. And I think Kirk Q can do it. So there we go.
Do you guys remember when Stelzig and Samurai Man were both playing 100% of Super Mario Sunshine, and Stelzig got the record, and then 5 minutes later, Samurai Man started streaming and took it back?
Oh my gosh!
Just like within minutes, yeah.
Within minutes, he did one run and he got it back, and I was like, all right. So,
all right. Now, Golden, I know you're wanting to skip over one. All right,
I'm trying not to mention this one here. What is it, Spike?
All right, guys. Who are we taking for the Mega Man 6 race?
Oh, there's a Mega Man 6 race, is there?
Yeah, it happens to be. Between Dark Terex and some other guy. Who are we taking?
Hopefully not Golden.
Not. Well, history would show you're winning this series 2-0 right now. in marathon runs? You've raced him twice, or has it only been once?
I mean, well, there was the relay race, which was a few months ago now at this point, and I ended up gaining like 45 seconds on their team. But that was a long time ago. That was,
Sure. I will say, though, you've both been putting in a lot of time. You both have a lot of consistency to it. I think whoever wins between the two of you, I think it's going to be close. I think we're looking at within 20 seconds, I'm going to say, of one another by the end of it. So I'm thinking both of you are getting low 36s.
All right. Good prediction there. I like how you didn't
Good prediction,
put a name on it. Yeah. I will say this about the Mega Man 6 race is that I think it has the potential to be really good, and it has the potential for one person to just get way ahead of the other. It's just that kind of game where, just something goes wrong and you're losing time everywhere. But hopefully we'll see something, in the low 36 range for both of us. I think we're both capable of it. And whoever wins, but I'm gonna take the safe route here. If I have to make a prediction.
Well, you can let us go first if you want to.
Okay, I'll let you guys. I need some advice here.
I'm gonna go with this guy right here. This guy.
Okay.
He's actually been in a marathon before, and he's got the experience, so he already knows what the pressure is like. He's kind of been there, done that, and he's been playing the game a whole lot. He's got the consistency down. I think Dark Terex is going to have a little bit of nerves, and like Golden said, something can go really wrong, and then there's a big time loss, and I think we could see Golden jump out to a big lead and not look back.
Don't give me big lead. That's too scary. Don't give me.
And that's where it's going to go bad. No.
All right. So we got Sinister's prediction. Sweetie T.
Earlier in the stream, we were talking about the literal who's coming out of nowhere. So I'm going to go with Dark T-Rex. We talked about Ivan. People didn't really know who he was, and he won. He beat this. Everybody knows who this is. So I think he's going to close it out in the end.
All right. All right. Here's my prediction. My heart says Golden, but my brain says Dark Terex. Is that acceptable? Is that a fair? Okay. Here's the reason. Dark Terex has the better PB at the moment. I haven't been able to get that 35. It's kind of like a mental block at this point. I've been churning out some good 36s, but like never been able to really pull through the entire way on a run and get that 35. And he also, I think, has a bigger passion for the game than I do. Just as far as like his attitude about it, his approach to it. He's always talking about it. So I don't know. I have to pick. I can't vote against myself because that's like, I guess that's colluding. But I think the wiser choice might be to bet against me. We'll see. Anyway, that's some races. There are actually a lot of races in addition to the ones that we mentioned. But
hey, there's another Mega Man race. Are we skipping that one?
You want to go over that one quick? Let's.
Come on, we gotta go for that one.
Yeah, all right.
Come on,
so
now.
I'm just letting you know. There's like 5 or 6 other ones on here. We're not going to get to all of them, but yeah, Mega Man 5 Game Boy.
No. Not that one.
All right, which one would you like to talk about?
I want to talk some Mega Man X.
All right, who do you got?
Tiki.
Caleb versus Tiki. Tiki versus Caleb. The original Titans. Clash of the Titans, dude. They're going to get it on for round 2. And I am going to have to go with Tiki. And the main reason for that is Caleb's been spending so much time on X2. He's been neglecting X1 a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think Tiki is not. And, this is Tiki's only game. He doesn't have to worry about any other games. He's going to be prepped. Tiki's been playing this game since he was like 3 years old. I mean, he's ready to play it. He could have played it any time within the last, 15 years.
The army siren could go off at 3 in the morning, and Tiki wakes up and he's ready to go.
He's ready, dude. He's ready. Not only that, he's feeling a little salty about losing to Caleb the first time. Caleb was kind of the up-and-comer. Nobody really knew who he was back then when they had the first race, and Tiki was like the big shot, And the tables have turned now, Now people don't know who Tiki is now, which is crazy to me. But people, who's this guy? So yeah, I'm going Tiki.
Yeah, feeling pretty much the same way as Sinister about the whole thing. Tiki only has to focus on one game, and there was the sense of when Tiki came back earlier this year, it was like, oh, well, Caleb's optimized this game so much. Surely it's going to take Tiki many months to get back into it. Watching his movement, if you watched enough Mega Man X, his movement is so crisp. it's so consistent. He didn't forget. He didn't miss a beat taking the, multi-year long break that he did. I think Tiki's got it. I think he's going to pull revenge on Caleb from AGDQ a couple years ago. Either way, it's going to be a super hype race. They have great chemistry together. They love each other.
Yep.
And it's going to be exciting to see Tiki back at the GDQ. He's got to vote for him.
All right, I'll jump in. I'm going to go with Caleb on Mega Man X, actually, over Tiki. I like them both. I think Tiki's the more consistent player, but kind of for reasons that we've mentioned before. In recent history, Caleb's the one that's got the marathon experience, and it's fresh in his mind. I think he's really looking to kind of avenge himself from AGDQ in Mega Man X. I think that's the game he's going to come out firing in. I think he might not do as well in X2 as he does in X1, to be honest. I know X2 is the one that he's kind of putting more time into recently, but I think also that 4-player race kind of puts a little bit of extra pressure on, and that's going to be where players slip up more. I'm going to take Caleb in X1. I think it's going to be really close, though. Sweetie T?
Yeah, Tiki for life.
Tiki for life.
When people tell me they don't know who he is, I'm like, you don't know who Tiki is? Like,
people in the chat are asking what his stream is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
what's
are you
Tiki's
serious?
stream? Just one other thing about Tiki, just to kind of add on to it a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, he does have the world record for the category they're playing.
Sure.
Currently.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is
So,
correct.
You don't get more legit than that.
Number 1 seed.
Get hype. Get hype.
Yeah.
I can't wait for this.
It's going to be a lot of fun. All right.
Either way, those back to back.
Yeah, like we mentioned, there are a lot of other races out there. We'd love to be able to cover them all, but obviously trying to keep the show, within
under
time.
6 hours.
Yeah, within time limitations. But just so you guys know, we'll also next week be taking a look at some more things SGDQ related, some predictions and things like that leading up to it. Since actually we only have one more show after this before SGDQ.
Before we retire.
Before we quit, yeah, before we get canceled. And then, get revived on a smaller network, maybe Hitbox or something.
Shout out to Hitbox.
That's right. We're coming, baby. We got this.
What about owned? Go straight to Azubu.
There we go. Azubu TV. Here we go. Ustream. We're on. All right,
We're
let's take a look at the big plays, guys. This week we've got a pretty big one, and it's a familiar face actually if you're a fan of our show, because he's been on a couple times, or actually once in the past here. Sinister One, what's going on here?
He is beating Mike Tyson blindfolded.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. Okay, so I got to first of all tell you who this guy is, okay? D. Tysonator. Hey, look at his name, dude. D. Tysonator.
He's got
That's his
Tyson
name.
in the name.
Like, he is the first human being on the planet Earth that ever beat Mike Tyson in round 1 back in, 2002. All right? And then, if that wasn't good enough, he made up this Game Genie code that blacks out the entire screen except for Little Mac, and then you can see Tyson flash when he throws his uppercut, so it's almost blind. It's not quite 100% blind. He beat Tyson that way. He was the first person to ever do that. So it only makes sense that he would be the first guy that would actually beat Mike Tyson completely blindfolded, takes him all the way. He actually takes him all the way to round 3, which is even that much more insane, sustaining a couple knockdowns there, but he's been doing this for a little while now. This is not something you can do consistently, if people are wondering. But
right.
The fact that
it's just not a very reliable.
Well, yeah, to win by decision, you need 5,000 points, and the only way to get 5,000 points is to get a lot of knockdowns, which he gets a bunch of knockdowns, and then you need to get stars. You need to land some stars,
Also, don't get knocked out yourself.
Yes, don't get knocked out yourself, which is pretty darn tough, seeing that Tyson knocks you down in one hit for the first minute 30 of round 1. So I actually tried this challenge recently just to kind of mess around. I had never practiced this for the marathon, but I was able to get to round 2, but nothing close to this. So big shout outs to D. Tysonator, man. He is old school MTPO. Hopefully one day he makes it to a GDQ, because he actually plays a ton of NES games and he's good. He can speedrun some NES games. So it'd be cool to see him actually get in there. But yeah, that was just amazing.
I like the double webcam for proof too. He's got the one webcam's on his face, the other one's on his whole body, and
right.
You get the full experience. Worth noting that his stream is not D. Tysonator. He streams at, I believe it's AC Games Online.
Yeah, because that's a game store that him and some of his buddies stream from. So he doesn't actually stream on his own, like Nick.
Yeah.
I was going to say that was a sick room he had there.
Yeah.
I was like, that looks awesome.
Yeah, and actually, I think he mentioned at the start of this video clip, if you watch the full clip, he says something like, "I can only stream for like 20 minutes. I gotta go work." Like,
yeah.
I've only got 20 minutes to get this, guys. Oh, well, look, I did it.
It was just a random stream. I mean, he'd gone pretty far before that. I think. I'm not sure if he went the distance once, but didn't win by decision. But he at least made it very deep in round 3 before, and he had knocked Tyson down multiple times before this, which I still haven't knocked Tyson down either. But
yeah, this is really good stuff. It's exciting.
Absolutely bonkers.
I love his. If you watch the full clip too, guys, I'm trying to encourage you guys to head over there and check it out. If you watch the full clip, his reaction is so calm. Like, he's not like up and like, you know, knocking things off shelves or anything that he did this. He's just
double tap.
We did it, guys. We did it.
You know, though, I'll be honest with you, because he actually PMs me on Twitch quite a bit, and he told me that he was going to do, like, he was very confident from when he first even tried to do this. He's like, I have no doubt that I'm going to be able to do this. I'm just going to put in the work and I'm going to get it done. Mm-hmm. And he did it. You know, like, I think that having that confidence definitely helped.
All right, guys. Reminder that you can submit big plays to us at our email account there, thefinalsplit@gmail.com. But let's move on to our record setter. This week, we've got a glimpse of Sonic action here. This is Sonic the Hedgehog 2 with Worcester in 1508. Ooh, yeah, exactly. Are you surprised by that?
I love it, man. I love seeing Worcester get it on with some Sonic, dude. This is a great game, and he kind of opted to go away from Pokemon for a while, and people kind of were like, what are you doing? And this is what he's doing. He's doing this.
Yeah, zipping through stages here. I mean, this is a game that I guess I would say it was kind of left alone as far as people trying to break into it. And Worcester's kind of, you know, touched on it here and there, but being so absorbed in Pokemon for the longest time, it kind of sat, I would say. I think people are picking it up now. I've seen other people picking it up. Darkspine Sonic was learning it the other day.
Yeah, really excited to see that.
But this is just a really technical game. There's a lot of precise zipping going on here. You're going to see the zip across the entire stage. And actually,
2D Sonics are some of the greatest speed games out there. Always love, from whether you're a speedrunning enthusiast or you're just a casual, love watching these runs.
The thing about Sonic games too is it's so immediate to the viewer. Like, this is not right when you see it.
Right.
You know, the stages that don't have zips, there's just a lot of fast movement, bouncing off of things, maintaining your momentum. Here, the camera shifts actually to force the zip. He crouches down and then the zip goes. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Thankfully, I got to talk to Worcester a little about AGDQ about him running Sonic and stuff, and he told me he was very excited to start running Sonic games. He told me it's just like Pokemon. There's a lot of resetting, but he said he's extremely excited to do it, and I'm happy that he finally got the God run.
Yeah, here we see a throwback to last week. He's stuck in the ceiling. And actually, look at Sonic's sprite right here. It gets disfigured. There we go. All right, even he can't believe what's going on. But yeah, now I don't know for sure. Somebody might have to check this for me, or maybe answer it. But was Mike 89 the last holder of the record in this game?
He was.
I think he was.
He had a 15:18, and Worcester was sitting at 15:40. Beat his run by 32 seconds to also beat record by 10 seconds.
And to add on to
brotherly
that too,
competition.
Yeah, you got that brotherly competition. Just to clarify too, though, I think the 1508 is game time, right? I think Sonic runs are generally
they always
game
go
time.
by game time.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure on that. The full record, full replay available there at that link. You should check it out. It is a fun run to watch, a very quick one to watch too, in its entirety. Just a few highlights there of the non-stop action that you should check out.
Shout outs to Worcester coming back to Sonic. Glad to see you back.
Yeah. Good to see that. You know, it didn't really take him that long either. I mean, I guess depends on how you look at it, but you know, it wasn't a tremendous amount of time that passed before he was able to claim that record. So, see what he does from here. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happens though when things don't go your way in a Sonic game. It's time for Glitch Please. And this week we're taking a look at Tails' Adventure, actually. This is going to be an SGDQ. This is Boar Deathly. Now, he's flying as Tails here, but he gets too close to the ceiling, I believe, and then gets ejected from the stage. So take a look at this, and then listen to his reaction, because it's pretty great.
Yeah, I think the game itself is pretty I was just trying to... What the Damn it! Did you see that? I hit air! I hit air and it took me back to the full map.
I hit air. I hit air.
Why do I play this game?
Why do I play this game? I hit air. All right. Awesome. I love his reaction, though, because his reaction is like one of the best ones we've ever had. I'm like sitting there like struggling to get the sensor bar in all the right places because he's just so upset with it. Oh, man.
We've all had those moments.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's
why am I playing this game?
Exactly. Yeah, those are the moments.
Literally, why are you playing Tails' Adventure? He's in chat right now saying.
I know. Yeah, he's admitting. Yeah, this game sucks, man. Don't play it.
Shouts. Those of you who will see it at SGDQ, though.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
Hopefully that doesn't happen at SGDQ, or maybe hopefully it does. I don't know. It depends on what side you're on of the issue.
I want that exact clip at SGDQ. That's what I'm saying.
I want that to happen on stream.
Yeah,
50,000 people. Same thing.
If you have a clip, whether it's a big play or a glitch please, and want to submit it, send it on over to thefinalsplit@gmail.com. And be sure to follow us on all of our lovely social media so that you can keep in touch with the show. We announce when we go live on Twitter. All the replays are on our YouTube, and you're on our Twitch right now. So bop that follow button, as they say.
Bop it.
Bop it. Let's go ahead and give you guys an opportunity to ask your questions now of Sweetie T. Or the hosts in general, whatever it might be. It's time for the boss rush. And I know you guys like to have pocket questions just in case.
Sure.
Anyone got one that they want to start with?
Well, without getting too personal, I noticed you mentioned that you did those races on Saturday, Sweetie T, and that you made it very clear to your ex-girlfriend. Was she very opposed to these Saturday races, or what was going on there?
No, it was more. I think we just started dating, so I think I just lied to her, and I think I said, "Oh, on Saturday at like 2 p.m. I'm like busy doing something," and I think I just like straight up lied to her.
It's for charity work.
Yeah, it's
and then
volunteer hours.
Once we started dating a little bit more, I like kind of told her. I was like, I like act like I just started doing it, and so then it was okay. Yeah, then it was all good, but yeah, it wasn't like a thing until later.
Lying. That's the best. Sometimes the best.
All right. From the chat here, Sweetie, what's your favorite game of all time?
Favorite game of all time? I'll take my speed games out of it because everybody's always like, oh, my favorite game is my speed game. If I had to choose a game, my favorite game of all time, it'd probably be Halo 2.
Halo 2, good choice.
I played the crap out of Halo 2. I've spent more time in Halo 2. Well, outside of World of Warcraft, Halo 2, I've probably spent more hours on than almost any game.
Now, I know Stryker and all those nerds are going to be playing at SGDQ. You going to get in on those?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I hung out with Mr. Monopoly at AGDQ, and I was like, you're the guy that runs Halo 2, right? And we talked for like an hour and a half, and just I got so deep into it with him. I loved it. I love Halo and the Halo 2 series so much.
All right, this question's for everybody. From Virtual Boy Ness, who is, I believe, one of the Mega Man 5 Game Boy runners. Correct me if I'm wrong. What other games do you think would work well as a four-way race in a GDQ?
I've talked about it many weeks in the past. I think either Donkey 1 or 2, Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2, would be great four-way races. Good and short. You got a lot of people that play those games. Yeah, and people know about them. So, and a lot of the community within DKC 1 and 2, they know each other. They're good friends. And I think that would build a good rapport for putting on a four-way race.
I'm actually going to go with a game that I've already raced in a GDQ, but it was only a two-way race. I'm going to go with Ninja Gaiden 2, and I'm going with that game because it's a good speed game, first of all. It's short, and there's actually no significant RNG. So if you had 4 top skilled runners, you're almost guaranteed to have an extremely close race. So I think that would be that would be something cool, because most of the games that you see, even with the 4-way races, there's some big RNG factors.
Yeah.
So
I tell you what, I would take either Super Mario World 1 or 2, and I would say for both of those, you could do 96 Exit for Super Mario World. I think is simple enough from a race perspective that it would be easy to keep up with. And Super Mario World 2, I think if you go any percent, warpless or whatever it may be, anything where it's just trying to complete the stages as quickly as possible and not focusing so much on the objectives inside of each stage, I think it's a little bit easier to follow along with. I think it's a little bit more consistent from the runner's perspective. And I think there are enough runners of those games that it would be pretty easy to field for people.
Yeah.
Sweetie T, do you have any games that you'd like to see a 4-way race of?
I agree with Donkey 2. I love Donkey 2. That game is amazing to watch, and the skill involved in it's a really high skill ceiling game, and I think it would be amazing for a 4-way race. Yeah. I think people because the Donkey, maybe I'm speaking from an outside perspective. I only really watch a few Donkey Kong Country 2 runners, but it's not like the hype game right now. Like, it's kind of, a lot of the runners I watch don't get all the viewers that they probably should based on their skill level, but
I don't think it's ever been the hype game, unfortunately.
Yeah,
so deserves it though.
Yeah, like, it's a really hype game. It's really hard, and you skip a lot of levels.
Yeah.
So
I mean, is it safe to say that the popularity could be there if it was wanted? I feel like a lot of the Donkey runners just tend towards maybe not wanting as big of a crowd in general. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah, I think that's really safe to say.
Sure.
Because I think
big popularity.
I think a really interesting race idea, whether it's going to be at a marathon or not, just like maybe an online marathon or maybe just like an event like the Mega Man X Relay. I think a Donkey Kong Country Relay race is overdue at this point. There are enough people playing at least 1 and 2. I don't know if you would want to stretch it as far as 3. I don't know if there are that many runners of it, but I mean, it's a series that is great. There are a lot of competitive people in each of the games. That'd be fun. Question here for Sweetie T: who is your favorite SMW runner?
My favorite SMW runner? Oh man, can we? Probably Lambie. Lambie. I mean, I love all of them, but Lambie is. If you are an SMW runner, I'm going to find Lambie's YouTube page and look at it and look at the things that he does in SMW, because it's insane. He doesn't do RTAs, but he's helped out a lot with any percent.
He's more into the research of it, I think.
Yeah, he loves the research. He loves trying to do things that the test guys do. He's just a great runner overall. But if we had to go into the speedrunning itself, it'd probably be a tie between Xpaco, LinkDead, and Dram.
All right.
All good choices.
Yeah, and I think actually on that note, it looks like we're caught up. And I guess, okay, we'll do one more. A Bird of Prey wants to know, any Dark Horse games on your radar for SGDQ? A game that is maybe not being considered as hype, but is hype in your mind. Anybody have a game?
Oh, any of those. Oh. I'm really looking forward to see Broken Arthritis and Sonic Unleashed. I think there's such a bad rap for the 3D Sonics in general from all communities. It was basically blocked out of AGDQ this past year. They finally let one in, and the thing about it is, if you look past the fact that they're not great casual games, Sonic Unleashed, just the day stages, is an amazing speed game to watch. Broken Arthritis is super legit at it. I think that's going to be one of the top 10 runs of the marathon for a lot of people, if they can get past the fact that it's a 3D Sonic. It's a really good speed game.
I am going to go with The Lost Vikings, which is going to be one of those 2 controllers with 1 person running it kind of deals. So that should be pretty cool. And there's a lot of broken stuff in that game as well. I believe Johanna Witzer is the runner for that one, so it should be exciting.
Really good guy, really legit as well. Yeah, that should be fun. Put on a great show last year with Adam's Family.
I guess from my perspective, I don't know that you would consider this like underrated, maybe just underappreciated in the speedrunning community. I think Yoshi's Story All Melons is going to be an interesting run, just because it's one of those games that constantly gets suggested and constantly gets ignored in marathons. It doesn't really ever get its chance. And whether or not that's because it's an interesting game, I guess that's up to the viewers to decide. I'm kind of curious to see how they respond to it. So Yoshi's Story for me.
Yeah, I have two of them, and they're actually right, like one plays and then the next one plays. I'm really excited for Chameleon Twist and Jack 64 because I played those games as a kid. They're early in the morning. It's 7:30 a.m. and 7:50 a.m. on the 4th. But I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna watch it because those are the games I'm really excited for.
All right. On that note, I think we've done a pretty good job of answering the Q&A. So let's wrap the show up here, guys. It's time for the speech. And I guess I've had a few weeks off, so I'll take it if you guys don't want it. How about that?
Get in there, Golden.
All right. Here's my speech, guys. And it actually kind of relates to our next week's guest. Next week, we're going to try to collaborate with the folks that are going to be at DreamHack performing speedruns there. Get some of them on the show. I don't know how it's going to work just yet, but we're going to try to get some sort of live interaction with them. I guess to me, the exciting thing about it is that we've all wanted the speedrunning community to grow. We advertise it to our friends, to our viewers, and we just kind of try to get people involved. And whether or not you're a fan of the esports element of speedrunning, this is like an opportunity, I think, just as big as a GDQ to broadcast what we do on a scale and to people who don't otherwise pay attention to it. So I'm really excited to see not just the production value of it, because it's DreamHack. It's going to be huge. They're going to, exaggerate everything about it, but just the runners' response to it, how they're excited, how seriously they take everything, and what the audience reception is from it. I'm excited about DreamHack in general, just to see what they do with it. I think it's something everybody should watch, and hopefully we'll work something out where they can be on the show with us next week. So that's the plan. And yeah. At the moment, the plan actually for next week is 8 p.m. Eastern, but we'll have to see if that holds up. We'll keep you guys up to date on Twitter as we try to work this out. So that's that. That's my speech. Do we have a raid target maybe in mind? Does somebody want to?
Yeah, actually, there's a pretty good choice for that, I'd say. I'm not actually 100% sure if he's going to be at DreamHack, but he might be able to link you to some people as well who will be involved. I know Bad Breaks is going to be there. I'm going to send you over to Dexter's Lab.
Awesome. Great choice.
Okay.
Get in there and raid with some DreamHack hype. That's it for our show, guys. We'll see you guys next week for our final show before SGDQ. And until then, just remember that your run is not over until you hit the final split. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.